Hey everyone, I'm Raleigh Swanson. I'm a real estate broker with Quiet Waters Realty Group, and today I'm here with Brad Newman of Brad Inspects for a little sit down question and answer so that we can get to know the home inspection process a little bit better. Brad, welcome to Topsail Island.
Thanks for having
It's
me.
great to have you, and thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come here and answer a couple questions for us.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about Brad Inspects, where you guys work out of, and geographically what areas you're going to service here in southeastern North
Sure.
Carolina.
Started in 2016 by myself. Worked for about 4 years by myself. Have added help throughout that time. I now have two full-time inspectors, two part-time inspectors, so we can typically get inspections done very quickly. Have two septic inspectors, myself being one of those, and then another one. Have office staff. So it's become quite a big operation. But it's all designed to help get inspections turned out as quickly as possible for the buyer and whoever needs them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, yep.
And then areas. So if I live in Jacksonville,
Yep.
if I live in Wilmington.
So we're based out of Jacksonville.
Okay.
We don't have an office. We all just work from home. I do have an inspector that lives in Wilmington. I've got an inspector in Hubert. But we go pretty much all of eastern North Carolina. So
Okay.
New Bern and north. I've been all the way down to the South Carolina border. I go as far east as Fayetteville, as far west as Fayetteville. So pretty much all over eastern North Carolina, we'll travel and get it covered.
Awesome. So if you're in southeastern North Carolina, Brad's your guy.
Yep.
All right. So can you walk us through the process? Just summarize what a home inspection is. So the time that a real estate broker calls you, a potential buyer, or just a homeowner who wants to have an inspection done, they give you a call. Can you walk us through exactly what the process looks like?
So first thing is get all the address, the pertinent information, details about the house, vacant, occupied, utilities on, just so that we're ready to go and we know what we're going against. If the client's going to show up to be there to do a briefing at the end, or they're going to be there the whole time tagging along with us. We get all that information, reach out to the listing agent, get permission, so that they can let the sellers know that we're going to be there, just so that they've got that on their radar. And then the actual inspection process, very detailed, very thorough. Basically, we go through every single system that a house has. So that's foundation, exterior, all the structural components, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, the appliances, insulation and ventilation. So we just check it out, extremely thorough.
Okay.
Everything we can look at, touch, test, get our hands on, let you know if it's working, if it's not working, if there's anything that can cause it to not work in the future. And the whole goal with the home inspection is to give the client, whoever it is, the buyer or an investor or someone who owns the house and they want to know about it, as much information about that house as possible for whichever purpose they're going for.
So would you recommend, because you mentioned that the homeowner or the customer can be present for the home inspection.
Mm-hmm.
They certainly have the right to be there the entire time, but would you recommend that they show up a little bit closer to the end, allow you to do your job, and then you summarize everything for them?
Yeah, that's
talk
the
through
best,
report?
and it's nothing against the person being there. It's just that we have a very specific routine that we're used to doing and maintaining. And if we've got somebody there, although their intentions are great, it can throw us out. And our fear then is that we potentially miss something because of that. So we don't mind them being there. That's certainly their prerogative. But we do prefer that they show up at the end and we can go over everything in summary at one point. Just makes it easier for everybody.
Awesome. Good information. All right. So, as a real estate agent, when we are talking with potential sellers and getting ready to list a house, we tell them that they typically have to sell their home to 3 different people. We have to sell to the market to bring potential buyers in. We have to sell to the inspector and sell to the appraiser. What can families do that are getting ready to list their house to prep it prior to you coming in to do a home inspection that will sell that home to you as the inspector?
Sure. So a lot of things that we notice are just cleanliness. A lot of times if I show up and a house is clean, it looks like it's been pressure washed, the landscaping's done. It's just about that general first impression.
Yep.
Obviously I'm still going to go through and do everything I have to do, and I'm never going to not, but if I get a good impression, it just gives me an overall good feeling about the house and what I'm seeing. And then pretty much from there, it's just making sure that I have access to the items I need access to. So that's the electrical panel, the water heater, access to the attic, access to all the doors and windows as much as possible.
Okay.
And just making sure that everything is easy for me to move about. I don't have to move a bunch of items or worry about knocking things over, things like that, just to make my process easier. And then that overall feeling of it looks like they're ready for me gives me that positive feeling as I'm going through the house.
Okay, and then are you able to move items, or do you have to have the homeowner move those items? So, for example, we have a spare refrigerator in the garage, and it's blocking the hot water heater. Are you comfortable? Are you able to, or will you put on your list unable to inspect, and we have to?
So it
move that?
depends on, it's a case by case scenario.
Okay.
So sometimes there's 4 or 5 big boxes in front of a water heater and electrical panel, but if I touch one and it's empty, I'm going to move them out of the way.
Okay.
If it's a fridge and it's got stuff stacked on the top, my fear is then I could damage the seller's property, which I obviously don't want to do. And then I won't, and we can arrange for me to come back once those items are cleared. But I try and do everything at that time because I know that the real estate transaction process is such a short amount of time. There's quick due diligence periods and things like that. I try and get everything I can knocked out. If I do feel like I'm going to damage something though, then I won't.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Thanks. Yep. Brad, you and I have worked together on a couple different inspections at this point. I just want to say that I truly appreciate the responsiveness in both getting the report done in a quality way and then also picking up the phone when I have any questions or a potential buyer has any questions. Obviously, if it's on the agent and the buyer to come to an agreement on what they want to ask for repairs. A lot of times we look for things, structural integrity of the house, safety of the home,
Sure.
Things that we're definitely going to ask for repairs. But I really do like the way that you're able to walk through the report and let us know your thoughts on it. At what point, though, when we go through the report, are you able to say, this is what I would recommend doing, or hey, we need to drop the conversation there and talk to a certified HVAC professional or a roofer? Can you expand upon that a little?
Yeah, so that's a case by case basis. The person I am, I love helping people, so that's why I love and I'm so passionate about doing this. Is I get to help people with one of the biggest transactions they're going to go through their entire life. And so I'm there from the beginning, the first phone call to, hey, can we set this inspection up? Well past when the deal's done. I tell people all the time, and I have people take it up on me. If you guys have a question during that due diligence period, I'm always there, phone, text, email, to help out. But then even after that, if there's a question about the house after the person's moved in and they come across something and they don't know something, I'm there for them also. I can oftentimes save them a lot of money by giving them a few pointers. But yeah, I just do my best to be there for them the entire time and for you the entire time to help answer questions. And part of that is, like we're not going to put in the report, how long do you think the roof's going to be good for? Mm-hmm. It's just, but if you were to ask me that or the clients ask me that, I'll be able to tell you, hey, this is what I saw, this is what I think. Yeah. Same thing for any of the systems in the home. I'm going to give you my opinion based on 5 or 6 years of experience mm-hmm. and knowledge that we've gained. So, and then I can point in the direction if, hey, I think that's a little bit above, a little more technical. I've got people I can refer you out to or refer the clients to help answer those questions.
Okay, and then I will add to being so close to Camp Lejeune, we work with so many service members. If we have out-of-state investors, we have out-of-state Marines, or maybe they're out of the country, do you have a system in place, or how do we get that buyer in front of you, even if it's just virtually, so that we can walk through that?
Yeah,
report?
Absolutely. So phone, text, email. I also, at the end of every inspection, if the buyer shows up, I load all my pictures in and we go picture by picture. I also have a remote option where a buyer in Japan, I've had buyers in Japan and Djibouti, can remote into my laptop, and then we get on the phone and I go through the pictures, and it's identical to them coming to the house. The only thing we're missing is being at the house. But it's the identical presentation. I can point things out, circle items, walk through them. They can look at the entire, all the pictures I've taken, and then ask any questions that come up as they're going through the pictures. And that really helps because it's very unsettling sometimes for these people having to buy a house and never being able to lay their eyes on it. I can really go through it in detail and get them all the information and knowledge they need.
That's awesome. It's all about transparency.
Yep.
Like it. All right, Brad, I appreciate you talking us through all of the different aspects of a home inspection.
Sure.
Are you able to talk us through a little bit more about what you and your team provide outside of the typical home inspection?
Yeah. So we try and provide as many services as we can so that it's easier for the realtor and or the buyer to just call one person and get everything handled at one time. We handle all the scheduling, try and do it simultaneously. But we do home inspections, and then we also do septic inspections, as I mentioned earlier. And then we can also, I partner with an HVAC company. and a pest company, so we can do HVAC companies and service, or inspections and services, and then we can also do pest inspections, the wood destroying insect reports. I can also arrange the services there as well. I'm also, me and the guys on the team are all mold certified, so we can do mold inspections. And then we do radon and water testing as well. So there's a lot of services we provide, so that in case you have any of those worries or concerns, we can answer questions and then do testing if necessary.
Okay. And then I guess really just for organizational purposes, when that happens, I know in the past when I've used some of those extra services, it's all on one invoice.
Correct.
So it just helps whether you have to send that to the mortgage lender or to the attorney,
Yep.
or just for your own record keeping. It's all on one invoice.
Yep.
And it's very easily identified and outlined on there. So
Right, absolutely.
that's
Makes it
awesome. It
easier.
makes our life a little bit easier as
Yep,
well.
that's
So
my goal.
cool, man. Well, I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank
Thanks
you very
for having
much.
me. Yes, sir.
All right, everyone. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We really appreciate Brad coming out here and giving us a lot of knowledge on the home inspection process. If you haven't already, go ahead and like our Instagram page or subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's going to be more content to follow.